to. Nobody has to. You don't have to count down. It can all be edited.
Okay.
All right. Well, welcome to episode 6 of Close Encounters of the Funny Kind. Just got back from vacation. Luckily for you guys, we did record the video episode 5
before we
went on vacation. So we did 2 so that our massive amount of followers were not without content. And that's just looking out for you guys. I know you appreciate it. But we're back a little bit more sunburned and with a little bit more liver damage. But
my lips are burning.
We survived.
If you can't tell with all the chapstick.
We survived, you know. So
my face is burnt to a crisp. It's okay.
Sam picked these 2 out. So
this is all they had at Publix. This was last minute. I didn't think we were going to record tonight, but just in case we did, I was like, let me grab these real quick. They're both 9.9%ers. We're screwed.
Well, this one's 9.2.
Oh, mine's 9.9. It has a bear weird hater blockers.
I don't think you have to talk as loud because I don't know if you guys know this. There's a new mic here, so you don't have to shout.
Check D-O-double-G. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
You don't have to do any of that. But we're trying to find a space in the house to kind of set up a little bit cooler of a room or podcast area. So we're still working on that.
Maybe a green screen at least.
I don't know.
Something other than the
this
asylum behind us.
This looks scary. Yeah, but
you're supposed to lit up,
I don't know.
Have I not taught you anything in our 20 years? Jesus.
So I don't know. I mean, like we've talked about before. Usually, if I can see through them,
Maybe screwed. There's going to be a lot of burps in this one.
Oh, good.
If you're not, if you haven't been following, we're currently counting the burps of me.
I don't know if I have the time to edit in a burp counter because there's so many of them. I feel like it would just overwhelm just the general editing of the whole thing.
Okay, but just to be clear, I'm the only person that burps when they drink beer.
Okay, well, all right. Okay. Well, here, give me a cheers.
Cheers to being home.
Yeah. Let's see.
What? You're supposed to look at me in the eye.
It's bad luck, apparently.
The smell got me before the taste.
You want to trade?
It says it's tropical. There's mango in it. I don't like mango.
Well, you didn't show what yours was.
It's beer hug.
Tropical beer hug.
It hugs something tropical.
Let me see.
That's got bits of real panther in it.
So you know it's good. Well, can I have mine back? I mean, you're okay.
Yeah, sure.
It's not bad. I mean, we're kind of warming up a little bit more to the
IPAs. We may have to try some light beers. Let's try some Busch Light or something next week.
Just drinking like
we
had 6 natties. We are feeling good. You know, we've had it's 2% alcohol. It's all water.
And then throw in a Four Loko.
We were talking about that today. We were talking about
maybe on next week's beer. Stay tuned.
Some Four Lokos.
So
I was
be fun.
Trying to put a couple of our friends onto that monster beer we had a couple episodes back. That was deceptive. By
the way, did you guys know they have a variety pack of those of all the flavors?
You said something.
I found a whole case of them. There's like 8 of them. Which, by the way, when you buy like specialty beers, a case is 8 for those things. And it was like $19.99. Well, I was tempted to buy it, but I feel like he would have slapped me if I walked in, paying $20 for 8 beers.
We'll bring Jennifer over when we do those.
Jennifer, if you're watching, you're coming over.
We're gonna bring her over. We're gonna give her some monster beers.
She burps worse than I do.
She does, and she may curse out several listeners, or it's gonna be interesting. We get her on here.
Maybe we should do her live.
We got to edit out some of it. We got to keep...
She's worse than me. I bite my tongue a lot on this.
We got to keep this PG, or at least PG-13-ish. Oh. Well, do you want to do question? What was the question of?
I don't know. What did we decide on? Food, drink?
We had a couple different ones, but we were talking about, and I brought this up.
I got one. I just got it.
Okay.
Just got it. You ready?
Well,
because I'm throwing you off now.
I'm gonna backlog my questions then.
There you
go. All right.
Stuck on. I mean, this is everyone's go-to question. Stuck on a desert island. Okay. Like Castaway.
Okay.
Right. You saw what he had.
Yeah.
What's your go-to?
My go-to what?
Like the product that he had on Castaway. It's a ice skate. It was a volleyball. Oh. He had shoes from his dead pilots.
I don't feel like any of that's good, but do I get to pick, or I have to pick from Castaway?
You can pick in general, but airplane crash, plane goes down. You have everything you can get out of an airplane and take it to a stranded island quickly before the tide comes in. What do you take?
I mean, if it's just anything, I would think the biggest thing you want is like something to start, like a fire starter, like one of those like flint, like a survival things where you can.
Are those on planes?
Well, I mean,
flares are on planes, right? I don't know. We don't fly a lot, so.
I don't know. I mean, if you're just talking about just a like.
All right, desert island. What do you take with you?
An item you take with you.
Mm-hmm. You're stranded. You're on Survivor. You go an item.
I think like something to start a fire is your first thing. And that's like, if you guys ever watched like Naked and Afraid, or
of course you've watched Naked and Afraid. You like watching girls walk around naked titties.
Some of these girls, it's not so much, but there's another one I watched on Netflix called, is it Survivor, something like that, where they drop all these different.
You mean the hit show on NBC or CBS?
No. It's I can't remember what it is now. Now I feel bad. But they drop all these different people off on like different like
it's
remote.
the wilderness one where the one guy was in he was in snow and had to build like a fort basically.
No, they're well, one of them was snow, but they dropped them all. The season I watched, they were all on an island, and they dropped them off at different parts, and they really. I don't think they were supposed to venture to like they could go in a certain amount, but it was like a tropical. They were on. There's one. Like Jesus Christ.
Let me get my pen so I can mark this down.
You're gonna tally them up, but they did it and like that was the biggest. Most of them set up like a shelter and then they try to build a fire, and then you go from there as far as food, and water, and stuff like that. But what do you think?
Probably a type of bug repellent.
It's not really good for survival. At that point, you're not really worried about bug bites. But
so I'm very resourceful. I could make fire probably out of anything. Let's be honest. You know me.
You could not make fire out of it. We're waiting to go live and record that you trying to make fire with nothing.
Next week's episode, we're going live in the backyard.
We're gonna have to get a whole bunch of these because there's no way like this. It'll be a 17-hour podcast because you never are gonna get fire started.
Just set up a camera, just to go live, and then edit out all the crap and like get it started.
God, it's never gonna happen. All right, so mine would have been good,
To be honest, I would probably take either a fishing pole or a knife, or a fishing pole with a knife, duct tape to the end of it.
You can't do that because then you're like, well, I took a satellite phone and a speedboat, All
right, a fishing pole. Then
you got one item.
I'll take a fishing pole.
Don't cheat the game. You're cheapening it.
I'll take a fishing pole, but then I can make that out of stick. Shit. I'll take a knife. I don't really know. Crap, I don't even know the answer to my own question.
Basically, Sam survives approximately 15 minutes on the island, dies of some unknown thing. Because she just couldn't figure it out. I mean, it's just like you would never make it.
I would. I would eat snails.
Here's a question.
I would eat snails.
Here's a question. How long do you think you could survive on an island with nothing? You're just dropped off.
Me?
With just clothes you're wearing.
105 days.
3 days max. I give you.
You don't even starve like in 3 days.
I feel like
malnourished takes
you
months.
would find a way to climb a tree and fall out of it and hurt yourself and bleed to death. I get 3 days. I feel like it's generous. Generous.
No, I would be very smart because there's no health care. See, I have accident insurance, so I don't mind climbing a tree here to get a kite out of the tree because I know if I fall, I have accident insurance and there's a hospital 2 miles up the road.
I don't know if you should be that reckless with our medical insurance stuff, but that's a different topic.
That's my topic of what happened on vacation.
Well, if you want to talk about what you got there with your
on my vacation,
how you've been injured severely through vacationing, and then we'll let the viewers decide on how long you will survive on a deserted island, because it's. The fact that you survived vacation and
the fact that I survived the crab hunting multiple nights in a row.
Yeah.
There's a blood trail still on the beach. I saw my blood the next morning where it happened.
So Sam seems to think that she's able to catch crabs that have pinchers on them.
I can.
With
There's
her hands.
Pictures. He'll insert it later. Don't worry.
Don't put that editing on me, but Sam seems to think she can catch crabs with her hands and not get the little pinchers there get pinched. But we've got some bloody photos that say otherwise.
So I have a hole in my fingernail.
Just torn up. And I'm like, Sam, I don't.
It was literally hanging from my finger.
We picked, they're little, they call them...
But the one was big.
Well, they call them ghost crabs. And so, normally...
Because they're white. They blend in with...
tiny, white crabs. You can't eat them or anything, but, where we go over, over in the Panhandle.
Here we go. Wait.
It's Mexico Beach. It's it's about an hour from Panama City, 2
hours from Tallahassee.
Yeah, so it's kind of in between.
30 minutes from Port St. Joe.
But... the little crabs, people go out on the beach at night and just the kids kind of chase.
Basically, they torment and torture them.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but you're not supposed to. But the kid, they have little nets and stuff, and they catch them, and you just kind of scoop them up, look at them. People like Sam try to pick them up, and they pinch you. So normally they're an inch across. So Sam finds this one that's 3 or 4 inches across.
He was huge. Actually, I think he was this big.
As long as you're going with that measurement size, then I'm doing pretty good, because 3 to 4 inches, that's not it. That's not it. You're rocking that one.
That's why I love you long time.
Incorrectly, but
anyways, a fisherman, right? It's never accurate. So the crab I caught was this big.
It was about this big. But I'll see if I can put the picture in here. But he was definitely
not happy.
Yeah. So she's holding them in the back, and they just kind of reach around and grab whatever they can and get you to drop them. So it's literally blood all over the beach. But
literally that fuck. Sorry, can we say fuck? He literally took this claw and got me from behind. I was holding him in his backside.
That's what she said. Got you from behind.
Anyways, needless to say, the 5-year-old, just turned 5,
yep,
was super excited to watch his mother tackle all these crabs on the beach, okay? And then what happened after I tackled all the crabs that you and your mother were shocked that I did.
To be fair, there was alcohol involved.
A lot of alcohol. Sorry.
So she was tackling crabs with no fear. No fear of injury.
Vacation, relaxing. I haven't had a vacation in 2 years. Leave me alone.
What else you got on your injury list there? Because
you have to tell him I went swimming. In the ocean, in the Gulf.
The Gulf. No.
The Gulf.
That's not how you say it. But, Sam jumps in
at how Jaws starts out?
9:30 at night, just out. I'm over there watching with a flashlight, watching with the kids. There's one, there's one. And so where's Sam? Sam's out in the water, swimming around. I see her coming back up the beach, and I'm just, my mom goes, does know this is how
The opening scene, the
Jaws started. And I was like,
which we watched 2 nights later. And I've seen numerous times.
it's like it's pitch. I was like, where? She's like out there in the dark swimming around.
All right.
So
I'll go through these quick so he can get to his conspiracies. Okay. So then we went, after a couple of days at the beach with the boys, we went to Shipwreck over in Panama City. It's an hour away from the beach house. We have been there numerous times. Not a big deal. I ride everything. I'm pretty cool about it, pretty chill. But every time I ride the Raging Rapids, I hate this ride. I like it, but I hate it because it never fails. It's a 1-person tube, and they literally send you through a waterfall to start you off with. So you're soaking wet. There's no way to stay dry. And I got stuck. I got stuck under that waterfall my first time down.
oh.
Y'all let me go first, right, on that one? Or second?
Either way, there's burp two.
Number 2. So then there's all these little divots, and you're doing this, and you're going down. Well, I have a fat ass, okay? I get stuck. I have, like, road rash up my butt because my butt kept bottling out in the dips. Then I fell out of the raft and had to get back in it. They don't have the lifeguards like they used to help you, like, push you through. I had to wait for numbnuts over here to come through and push me through. And when I grabbed him, he told me not to grab him and kicked me.
Yeah. It is a race. You are trying to beat your family members to the bottom. Everyone knows that.
So then I get to the end.
She slowed me down.
The guy, I slowed him down. So then we get to the end, and then our oldest comes down, and then I come down, and of course I come down backwards. Every freaking time I ride this water ride, I come down back. Everyone else always coming down front. They all look all cute. But me, I'm backwards, screaming my head off. My hair's halfway up. Like, so then, that was the first one, our oldest one to ride. Then we went to the Zoom Flume.
That's the one with the mats. It's like it's 3 different things. They all have a different path. And I think that was, what I read on the website, that was the first ride they had back in like 76. Yeah, it's just like a foam mat. But, you kind of fold it up. And if you lay back, you pick up more speed.
So if you all line up, there's 3 little things. And we lined up to perfectly race the 3, him, me, and our oldest. They took off.
I won.
I scooted.
I won. Just so it's on record, I won. I was the first one. Yeah.
I almost pulled a, what's the Grown Ups? Is that the movie where they were at the water park?
Adam Sandler? Yeah.
I almost pulled one of those, but luckily I didn't. But I scooted myself, and when I did, I scooted my whole entire ass off the mat and started to go down. The lifeguard started laughing at me. I could hear her.
She's just going.
Him and our oldest are already halfway down, and I'm about to go down on a basically brick concrete.
Yeah, it's not smooth. You want the mat.
Oh,
you want the mat.
You want the mat
to keep you.
I literally had to grab it as I was going down and like matrix it under my ass to get down to the bottom. Okay.
The one that I want, yeah. But.
So then we go to White Knuckle Rapids.
Okay. That's the one where we're you're all in a tube. It's a big tube, so you put like up to like 5 people in it. And you ride down and it goes up.
There's only 3 of us.
But it goes up on the sides and kicks back and forth and you drop down. But
okay. First time we went down, not a big deal. This fucker made me go down backwards again. Okay, as he does every summer.
I just want to say this. I cannot steer these tubes and things.
Then why are you always doing this?
I'm trying to pick up speed, but there's no control. I can't turn it around. But typically I'm facing forward and Sam and the children are always facing backwards.
But you're heavier than us. Shouldn't you be backwards?
I'm not a scientist.
Does the weight take you faster?
I don't think that's how it works. But no matter where I sit, I always end up facing down, and they're always going down backwards. Okay. So everything you go up, they're on the.
So we did that. The first one, not a big deal. Then our oldest built up enough confidence that he wanted to go on the Zoom or what was the fast one that was on that one?
I don't know what
White
the
Knuckle
hell.
or something, but the other one was like racing.
It's just too
racing water.
It's just too straight. Like it comes down and settles out, then comes down. I mean, you're moving pretty fast, and that's just one of those where you're crossing your arms and crossing your legs, and you're flying.
So to be clear, real quick, I'm about to share something very personal. I had on a one piece, like full zip up, like I was like Baywatch, but like fat. Okay, I wasn't like Pamela or anything. I go down this thing, and I've been at it before in a two piece.
Yeah,
I come down it.
I remember that. Sorry, go ahead.
I was skinnier back then, but I came down that thing, and I had the biggest wedgie so bad that I thought I had an enema. I'm not even joking, and I've never had this problem before. I feel like because
you gotta cross your legs.
I did cross my legs. I did cross my legs.
You don't have to scream at me, Al Pacino. Okay. Right? So you have to cross your legs, and that's what picks up all the speed. So our oldest was a little bit. That was the first time on it, so he went down with his feet open and his hands like this, trying to slow it down.
He's like,
so
I had so much water in my face,
like trying to slow himself down, and I'm just like tucked in. Like I've been down this thing a few times. Like I'm ready to go.
So then I went and played with our youngest for like an hour.
Yeah.
And like the puddle splash pad thing got him used. He got so comfortable with the slides at their thing, and he finally went over and played in the slides with his grandparents. So then him, Cody, and our oldest wanted me to go ride the rides with them one more time before we left. So we did the white knuckle thing. Again, the rapid, where we all sit in it together. This time, this one sat on my ankle.
All right, real quick. I want to say that during the ride, you put your foot underneath.
No, you moved literally as we went down the tube.
I would never do that. That's 3. Burp number 3.
So every time we hit a bump, he went down on my ankle, the inside of my left ankle, hurting me the entire time. And I kept saying, "You're on my ankle. You're on my ankle." He never moved.
I didn't hear any of this. When I'm on a water ride, I'm locked in. You know. You got it. I just want to say
it's a water ride.
There's
Are
nothing.
you serious?
I stay focused. I'm from Florida. You stay focused on water rides, okay? It's all about speed and efficiency.
Okay, Zac Efron, you're like a fucking Baywatch.
That's right, I'm Baywatch. Baywatching it, okay? We did watch some Baywatch on vacation. We showed our oldest.
We can talk about that in just a second. But as we're going down, my ankle is killing me because he keeps plopping his big old butt down on it. And what happens? I go down backwards again. And this time we're so close to the edge of it, I get smacked like this by a palm across my already sunburned face. And I got off the ride and said, "I'm done. I'm going home."
She didn't go home because I had the car keys and she can't leave us all.
It was the fun land.
Yeah. It's not allowed. You can't just leave in the middle
I bought $2 PBRs.
Yeah. So Funland, Panama City Beach. It's a great place. It's got a bunch of video games, $2 PBRs.
Yes.
It's a good time. We did have grandparents there to drive everyone home.
We weren't driving and drinking or drinking and driving.
It's a great place. It's been open since like, what did they say?
The 50s, because your dad went there as a kid.
Yeah, it's an awesome place. So,
and then to just add, shut up. Just to add before he goes into his thing, the coincidence of our kids on our not last day but second to last day at the beach got stung by the same jellyfish. Our oldest got a quick little zzz on his arm, and then our 5-year-old got one right on his leg.
The oldest said, "My arm kind of like I'm standing in between." The oldest said, "My arm kind of burns." And I said, "What?"
We thought it was the seaweed. There was a lot of seaweed.
Yeah, I said, "Did you get it's something like, did you get on the shelves or something? And he goes, I don't know. And then the oldest one goes, wow, or the youngest starts screaming. And I said, what? And he said, I stepped on something. Because there are times like when you're out there and there's fish and stuff. And
we
like
stepped on a flounder.
Yeah, like you'll step on a fish or a fish will swim by and bump your leg. It's just a little fish out there. And I thought it just scared him. And he starts like losing it. And then I picked him up out of the water and I see jellyfish just swimming away. And I was like, oh no. And we get him up on the beach.
On the shore tanning.
Just a huge red mark on him. So we were like, ugh.
By the way, no, we didn't pee on him.
No.
By the time we got him to the house, he was fine, took a shower.
They
both had little red marks like a rash, but it's nothing. They're not itchy. They don't hurt. It's just...
I don't know. I did splash some cold water from my cooler full of beer onto his leg.
Yeah,
I don't know if that helped, but I was like, it's not going to make it worse.
So type in your remedies for jellyfish stings, because my mom back in the day, because we used to go to Jack's Beach, like true Jack's Beach before it was Jack's Beach, like a different side of it.
It's 5. Burp number 5.
Her and a friend of mine's mom used to bring...
I'm going to stop you right here.
Crawfish, Creole...
Sam, this microphone is right here.
Oh.
So you're talking like we're talking to somebody outside. We're right here. This is why we bought the microphone, so you know. Guys, I just want you to know, this is the last time Sam's going to be on the podcast. That's number 6. It's just going to be me going forward. So I hope you like me. And that you...
Or I just don't change me right.
You don't want Sam on the podcast. But if you could... Al Pacino, if you could stop screaming. We have a microphone right here. Okay? That'd be great. Super duper.
Sorry.
We went outside and then there was a thing! Just down. We're just talking. It's just a normal... It's a normal... You're acting like the camera is 150 yards away and you're talking to somebody filming us with a photographic lens or something. You're just right here.
It's all new to me. This is like Barbie's world.
We can just talk like we're having a normal conversation because we bought a microphone. Okay?
So we'll talk like this.
You don't have to whisper. Don't get me sweet sexies, but you know, you could just hello. Would you like a pickle? Come on down to my basement.
We got some popsicles.
Got a whole box of popsicles down there. Jesus Christ. Get it together. Get it together. This has been off the rails. Oh.
You fucking do that.
What we're gonna do is like one of those TV shows where they replace like one of the daughters like halfway through the first season, and you're like, that's not the same daughter. And like you watch like all 10 seasons, but then you look back and you're like, they replaced her when you watch like the first season. That's not the same girl.
Are you her neighbor?
I'm gonna have to find somebody. We're gonna have to do something. I don't know, because it's drink over here chugging the IPAs. That'll help. All right. Was that 7? I'm losing count. That's 7. We're going to count that as 8. You got any more? You good? Nope. All right.
Can I check yours?
Nope. You can drink that Miller Lite over there.
All right. What do we have for conspiracy?
I'm so exhausted at this point. I'm just going to... Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next week.
I feel like this is the best podcast if we ended it right here.
I bet you do. With you over there burping and stuff all episode. Jesus Christ.
I'm not even drunk. I'm just so happy.
I gotta focus up and talk about a serious conspiracy.
I'm just so relaxed. That's my problem. I'm relaxed.
Well, stop talking so loud if you're relaxed, okay? Because we're not in, this is not, a courtroom where you're defending somebody, all right? Do you want to go? You want me to finish this up without you?
No, I'm going to be here for all of it.
This is serious. I need you to focus.
Okay, just so we're clear, I'm the funny kind.
People define funny as different. Like, they have different definitions of what they find funny when we're doing a podcast. All right.
You got me tickled.
Right.
I can't stop. Give me a minute.
Well, listen, you just be quiet.
You talk.
I'm going to talk, and you just be quiet. And then when you start talking, don't scream at me like you're Al Pacino in every movie he's ever been in, or Samuel L. Jackson, if you could. Okay? There's no snakes on the plane. Just dial it down. All right?
There's snakes on the plane.
You gonna do a moment of silence? Jesus Christ. She's even been drinking. It's her first beer. So maybe go sit the next couple plays out.
Sober Sam is worse than drunk Sam.
I was gonna say one beer. Like that didn't even kick in yet.
Like I had 7 bottles of water.
Focus. All right, I got to get to this. This is going to be a 6-hour podcast with you just snorting and burping. Okay.
Here, wait a second.
People aren't going to believe that's your first beer. No one's going to believe that. It's her first beer.
No, it's
You just blow your nose on it?
I'll wash them tomorrow. Forget it. I don't have eyeliner under my eye.
Okay.
How do I
All
look?
right. Settle down.
How do I look?
You look like a train wreck right now. This is not good. All right. We're going to have to pause. Let Sam gather herself. All right. Stop.
All right, go.
Got to focus. A lot of this is edited out. I can already tell you. All right. So this is something that I've researched and watched different stuff on throughout the years, and it's basically about the death of Marilyn Monroe. So
okay.
I've talked to you about this.
Yep.
Same with all my other conspiracy theories. So it was officially ruled that it was a suicide or an overdose, either way, but whether it was accidental or not. She had, I believe it was 4 previous overdoses where they had revived her.
Seriously? Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, she definitely had a problem.
A problem. But did she actually have a problem, or did someone give her a problem?
Well, that's a whole other discussion. But either way, just like a lot of the people in the 50s and 60s, I mean, pills were pretty easy to get if you had a doctor, especially if you were famous.
If you had an alcohol problem, they would give you medicine that basically made you an overdose problem.
They just prescribed everything they wanted.
It's in that movie that I watch all the time. They gave her something, and it literally just made her nuts in overdose.
I don't know what
I can't remember the movie. I'll remember it before we're done.
All right, but anyway, she had overdosed multiple times. So this is when the night she died. There's a lot of speculation about different things of what may have happened, and I mean it's pretty common knowledge at this point that she was sleeping with JFK off and on.
And Bobby.
The initial, I'm working through that.
Sorry.
The initial stuff that I've heard is that they met back in 54, and it started back then. So a lot of people think, they slept together a couple times after she sang Happy Birthday. It had been going on for years at that point. That's, I mean, anyone that's really looked into it, I mean, that's kind of common knowledge. Peter Lawford, who was a pretty big actor at the time, had married into the Kennedys. He had married one of Bobby and JFK's sisters. So he was a pretty famous guy, and they used to all just go party out at his house and stuff. So he had met, and it's kind of wild, which is part of what led to JFK's death, but the Secret Service at that point didn't really tail the president with the extent that they do now. So JFK, when he was president, would go hang out in Hollywood with Peter Lawford and Sinatra and a bunch of celebrities at this guy's house and just party.
Can I stop you for just a second? So one of the documentaries we've watched or I've listened to, JFK's wife was pissed off in modern day. We'll go ahead and say it. She was too ladylike to say it or be like that when Marilyn sung that song because she wasn't there. She knew Marilyn was going to be there.
I think that they did that on purpose.
She wasn't there at that ceremony. So I feel like it happened way before she sung "Happy Birthday, Mr. President."
They knew that was going to happen, and I think she didn't go because of that. And Jackie was too classy to say that, but I mean, there is a rumored phone call. Marilyn had a code name at the White House where when she called the secretaries, I want to say I heard it was Mrs. Green or something, but she would call in and say, "This is Mrs. Green to speak with the president," and they would patch her through. But at one point, she called, and this is after JFK essentially cut her off at one point, and she called and asked to speak to Jackie, and they patched her through to her, and she said, Jack loves me, we're going to move into the White House, he's going to divorce you, blah, blah, blah. And it just, Jackie said, I think the quote is, that sounds great, Marilyn, you guys get married, you move in here and deal with all this. Just because she was this is
not an easy job to be the first lady.
It is.
I mean, and especially in that time. I mean, Vietnam and black versus white. I can't. I don't know how to say it, and I don't want to get in trouble for saying it wrong, so I'm not going to say it. But I mean, that time was I couldn't imagine navigating through that.
Not a good time.
No.
But JFK was definitely a playboy. So there's not much speculation on him and Marilyn's relationship. Part of what the conspiracy behind her death, one of the things I listened to was saying that she was disclosing information to people that the government had
spies
had wiretaps on.
Yeah.
And they picked up her talking about stuff that JFK had talked about. So when Hoover got involved and they start bringing tapes to JFK, it was like, we've got to get her under control. So that's number 8. Burp number 8.
Sure.
We'll call that 8. That was a long one. It could have been 9.
Had 8. Then maybe a 9.
Again, you're just like the burps. What was that?
I don't know what that was.
All right, come on. We got to focus.
Right.
Focus here.
Sorry.
All right, so the night that she died, she was on the phone with a lot of different people. She was making phone calls. I think, I want to say Lawford, from what I remember. I didn't write this down, but that was the last phone call. And
she called him?
Yeah. So they were all, it was a tight-knit group of basically celebrities and family and stuff like that.
If you watch any of the Kennedy videos, you can get your hands on, like on Netflix and Amazon or anything.
There's a couple about Marilyn. There's the one with,
that compound is nuts.
There's the one with is it Diarmis, Rachel, or something like that? She's been in a couple other things, but she played Marilyn in a movie that's not that long ago that I watched. But it doesn't. I'm trying to remember. I've only watched it like once, but I take movies kind of for what they are, because it's more based. I feel like they tweak the story a little bit more for entertainment, and I try to, read stuff or listen to different people that have researched it a little bit more than, sometimes the movies that they put about to make it a little bit different than it was. But the theory, there's a couple different ones here. So neighbors reported that Bobby Kennedy and Peter Lawford were at the house that evening. They went by at some point.
To party and hang out?
No. The theory is that they were trying to calm her down because she was saying she was going to go to the press with everything she knew. So that, and then there's a bunch of stories about she had a diary that she wrote everything down in. Everything. And it had just lots of information about Bobby and John F. Kennedy. And they were trying to find that because, obviously that outs the president, and then Bobby, who they also had. That's burp number 9.
Nope, it's 12.
Okay.
I've been having little burps.
All right. Well, why don't you quit drinking beer so I can get through this? Maybe we can wrap this up in under 6 hours without the burps, okay? Just tone it down. All right.
Don't acknowledge my burps.
All right. So the theory was that, that they went over there to try to either get her diary or to calm her down or a combination of both. There's speculation that they were there to kill her, but I don't think Bobby or Peter Lawford would have been the guys to do it, just because they're in such a high-powered position. If anything, it would have been they sent somebody else over there later. So that's to be debated, but I think they may have gone over there, and if she, said, I'm going to tell everything, blah, 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 because at that point, Jackie knew about it. He had cut off, JFK had cut off communication with her, and I think Bobby, who had slept with her, was trying to be the go-between and just calm her down and say, look, we gotta, you can't out the president of the United States for this and all that. So, so there's a couple things, like her official, like they said it was an overdose. When the cops arrived, there was one cop there, and then another officer took over. But the initial cop that they had there, he said that they were assuming she had overdosed from pills because there was a bunch of empty pill bottles. Kind of scattered around the room. Her room had no water glass to take the pills. So it's a small thing, but it kind of seems odd if you're going to kill yourself.
I can't even take an ibuprofen.
Yeah, I mean, if you're taking enough to take yourself down, you'd probably get a water glass. And I don't think she would have... It didn't have a bathroom in the room. Bathroom's in the hallway, but it doesn't seem like she would have taken, 20 pills or whatever, and then gone to the hall.
When I took when I used to take birth control pills back in my 20s, and they were the size of, like, that. They were like Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
You had to have water to be able to, like, you couldn't get enough saliva to, you can't drink something like that without water.
There's no way.
There's no way.
So, they also, when they did the autopsy, they pumped her stomach, or analyzed it. I'm assuming not pumped it, but she had no pills in her stomach. With the time she had been dead, there would be no way for there not to be pills in her stomach. Because they said, like, they wouldn't have even dissolved, like that quickly. They would have found them.
Kind of like sharks, when there's like a shark attack and they find the shark and they Jaws.
The digestive
like
system
basically
just
the digestive, like it's gonna be in there. You haven't shit it out yet.
Yes.
Or
digested it is the proper term.
We're gonna say shit it out.
Thank you, sweetie.
She didn't shit that day.
Marilyn doesn't shit at all. She's a princess. Okay.
Oh my god.
You don't talk about Marilyn that way.
Everybody poops. There's a book.
There's
a book that says
Marilyn Monroe did not poop.
I bet Marilyn Monroe pooped.
No, she did not.
But she had stinky poops.
All right. There are a couple things that neighbors reported an ambulance at the house around 10:30. Okay? Mm-hmm. So, this is, that's not uncommon. You see flashing lights pull up to your house.
You're going to investigate it.
Yeah, what's going on? So
we had it during COVID.
That's not crazy to say, what's going on over there? And people knowing, she was in a pretty well off area, so people look out the window and see.
Of course.
There are a couple theories here. So one of the theories, and this is something I read in a book actually a while back, but one of the theories, and this was reported, that she overdosed accidentally, and that the ambulance drivers picked her up, took her to the hospital, and she died on the way to the hospital.
Yes, I've heard that.
And then they took her back because of who she was and put her back in the house. I don't know about that. It seems unlikely that an ambulance company would, obviously Bobby's not getting in the back of an ambulance with an overdosed Marilyn Monroe, so I don't really see why they would, and they're not calling over a cell phone saying, hey, bring her back. So I don't know about that. But there are a couple other things, like they said her body position, like when somebody overdoses, they they usually have a seizure. Or they at least convulse. They said her body was like perfectly flat. And that's like very uncommon.
She was laying like Barbie in a box.
I think she was face down. But
yeah.
And typically if you overdose, there's vomit. There was no vomit, no pills in her stomach. She was laying flat on her stomach. So there's a lot of speculation around the fact that maybe she was injected with something by somebody. She also had some bruising. She had some bruising on her arm, both arms, like she was held down. And that's something like if she was held down,
I fell.
And then somebody injected her with something. The autopsy really didn't note anything about that, but they weren't really looking for that because she had overdosed multiple times, knew she had this pill problem. They weren't searching for injection marks, and injection marks in general are kind of hard to identify, especially if it's one injection mark.
If it's one, yeah.
It's not like a junkie with a bunch of them.
Because I had a IV like vitamin infusion. You can't see where they did it.
Yeah, like it doesn't. Especially the main thing is if they're not looking for it. So, a couple other things they said. So one of the ambulance drivers. The thing I listened to, this was a podcast, and I listened to I searched through a bunch of different ones, a bunch of YouTube videos and things, just trying to find information about it on top of what I already had. But one of the ambulance drivers came out, and this was in the 80s, so years later, he had retired. He passed a bunch of polygraph tests, and you're not allowed to drink these anymore. You're no longer going to be sampling beers.
It's a Miller Lite.
Jesus Christ. He passed, we're like 15, but he passed a bunch of polygraph tests stating he was there. So he was there the night it happened. Well, there was no ambulance. Like the ambulance drivers weren't called till like the next morning, like 4 or 5 in the morning. The report is that the nanny, or I guess it wasn't a nanny, like a maid that lived with her, saw a light under her door at 4 a.m. or something, got up to go to the bathroom, saw the light, called, and I guess couldn't get in the door because it was locked, and called. That was something the initial police officer pointed out. He said that she had new carpet in the house, and with the door closed, there's no way to see if there was light shining under the door.
Yeah.
Because it was new, fluffy carpet, He was obviously replaced with a different police officer that would, kind of go along more with the flow. But, I mean, essentially, there's a bunch of different theories about this. The one other theory... Please stop drinking beer. Jesus Christ. The other theory was that she overdosed, and this was something that was kind of speculation, but they said that she had 2 different doctors, okay? So they were kind of working with each other to manage her uppers and downers and all that. I'm going to ask you to leave very soon if you don't straighten this shit out. Okay? Tighten it up. Are you? You're not going to drink any more of my beer. I hear this. This is just we're going to change the name to the burping content or the burping podcast. Where Sam just burps for 45 minutes.
Closely counted as the funny kind burps. Okay, sorry.
Anyway, I don't even know.
She was, sorry. God, I'm an asshole. I'm sorry.
The other theory is that there
were 2 guys.
The 2 doctors, right? Yeah. They said that she called one of the doctors, or it was reported that she called one of the doctors and said that so and so said I could have these sleeping pills, and the other doctor had told the doctor that wasn't prescribing it and said, you can't have any more sleeping pills. If she calls and asks, report it to me. Mm-hmm. So he said, okay, no more. She called, and I mean, it's Marilyn Monroe. You're just happy to be treating her, so he prescribed them, and that's what she OD'd on. So her primary doctor came over and gave her an adrenaline shot, and he he's more of a psychiatrist, so they're not trained in that.
Yeah.
And they think that he may have administered it wrong and nicked an artery or something in her heart, and she died doing that. So there's a bunch of different theories about it, but either way, something went wrong. I don't think she overdosed and the nurse saw it, or the maid, and called at 5 a.m. and said, yeah, I don't know. Whatever the story is, it's either she was killed or the doctor did. Like, there's so many. The ambulance was there at 10:30. Like, there's a bunch of different stuff. So I don't know what the answer is. My personal thought is that maybe the Kennedys had something to do with it, but...
Oh, God, for sure.
I mean...
Do I get to put my spin on it?
You can, but I mean...
I don't have notes for it, but I can spin on it.
Okay.
Oh, JFK and Bobby definitely doubled down on Marilyn, and they had her killed.
That's the theory most people have, is that they were in fear of something being leaked.
I'm sorry.
And even not about national secrets, but just about just about what she knew about them personally and what she had done with them. They didn't want that to get out because they were planning on JFK running for re-election, and then they were hoping after his second term, they were hoping Bobby would go in after him.
Yep.
All right, well, I think that wraps it up because we're definitely close to our time here.
Yep.
So
I can't burp anymore because
you got them all out here.
I think I did.
Oh, thank God.
You won't give me a beer.
Next episode, you're going to have a small sample glass. There's not going to be drinking a 16-ouncer because you're out of control. So, all right, well, we'll end this one. See you guys next week.
Bye,
Keep watching.
guys.
Bye.